Hi, I'm Dr. Christopher Cortman, and now for the Mental Health Minute. Years ago, I saw a couple for marital therapy. They weren't doing very well. He was quite immature for his age. He would punish his wife by giving her the silent treatment. He'd go into his room for several days at a time. And she was quick to be critical of him, and she would withhold intimacy and affection. They weren't doing well. So we worked on things, and we were able to get them to a much better place. They were enjoying their marriage, and eventually they stopped coming in for therapy. Well, years later, he returned, and he came in because he had a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, which culminated quite often in depression, very difficult to cope with. But their marriage was still a lot better, or so he thought. And then one day, while desperately looking for something that he could not find, he came across a journal, and he saw her writing a list of whether she should stay with him, what were the pros of staying with him versus leaving him. And the list of the reasons to leave him were much longer. And he was devastated. He thought they were better. He was just crushed, and he was scared, and he said, I don't know what I would do without her. I can't take care of myself. And he said, but I also can't hold on to this secret. And I said, no, you can't. You have to talk to her. You have to tell her you stumbled upon her diary and you read it, and go from there. Well, a half hour later, I got a phone call to the office that the list, it was from 2010. This is not how she felt anymore. Two takeaways from that story. Number one, perception is everything. Your nervous system does not respond to facts. It responds to the way you explain the facts to yourself. His perception was, she's thinking of leaving me, and he was devastated. The facts were, she wrote that 13 years ago and had no intentions of leaving him. And the second thing is, never leave blanks in communication. If you have questions, if you have issues, if you have fears, communicate well with your partner. Communicate well with your family and friends. Help them to understand where you're coming from, and also listen so you can understand where they're coming from. Let's not assume that you know what's going on with them, because most often when we fill in a blank for someone else, we're inaccurate.